Pythagorean Theorem, Lesson 24 notes, the definitions. Before we go over the definition for Pythagorean Theorem, I do want you to notice that we went from Lesson 22 to Lesson 24. We skipped 23, but we'll be doing that at a later time. Right now, we're going to start with the Pythagorean Theorem notes. For any right triangle, the sum of the squares of the lengths of the legs is equal to the square of the length of the hypotenuse. You got that, right? You understand exactly what the Pythagorean Theorem is by just simply reading that definition right there, right? Of course not. It's very wordy and hard to understand just by reading it. So what it's saying is, if you have a triangle and the triangle is a right triangle, and the right triangle has legs of A and B, the legs are the two sides that make the right angle. The legs are the two sides that make the right angle. And then the hypotenuse has a length of C. The hypotenuse is the longest side. The right angle points to the hypotenuse. So if you've got legs with lengths A and B and hypotenuse with the length of C, then A squared plus B squared equals C squared. That's the Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem states that if you have a right triangle and the legs have lengths of A and B, the hypotenuse has a length of C, then A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So let's take a look at this triangle here. Okay, again, the legs are the two sides that make up the right angle. So here's my right angle, and side A and side B make up the right angle. So they are the legs. The hypotenuse is the longest side. Now, that's not always easy to see, but the easiest way to recognize the hypotenuse is this right here. The right angle, that box, points to the hypotenuse. So that's why that white line is there. It points to the hypotenuse, and the hypotenuse will be the longest side. So you'll take A squared plus B squared and set it equal to C squared. What we're going to be doing with this is we're going to either be finding the hypotenuse or we're going to be finding the length of the leg. Well, if you are asked to find the hypotenuse, which is C, you're going to be adding because A squared plus B squared. So notice how I made an H for hypotenuse, and do you see the plus sign? That's a way to remember that if you're solving for the hypotenuse, if you're solving for C, you will add. If you're going to be solving for a leg, you will end up subtracting. So if you're solving for A or B, you will subtract. Notice the L and then the subtraction sign within the L. So right now, I would like you to pause the video and get all of that written down. Okay, so one more time. The Pythagorean theorem is A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. In the following examples, I'll show you how to use that formula to find the unknown lengths. If you have any questions, let me know.